Hey friend, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here listening to another episode of the Pattern Design Circle podcast. Here we talk all about the ins and outs of designing knit and crochet patterns and running a business that makes it all possible. I'm Jessica, your host, knitting pattern designer, design mentor, and the friend in your ear. Can't wait to dive right in. The Pattern Design Circle podcast is sponsored by the Pattern Design Circle, a membership community for knit and crochet pattern designers that are feeling lost, lonely, or frustrated in their business. It connects you with a supportive community that's always eager to answer your questions and help you through the hard times. And there's loads of resources and activities specifically catered to business and designing. Sound like your jam? Check it out at snickerdoodleknits.com/design-circle. That's snickerdoodle, like the cookie, knits, knits.com/design-circle. All right, let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Pattern Design Circle podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm excited to be here chatting with you in your ear, and I always love that you keep coming back. And if you're new, I'm so excited to have you here. It's always so fun to be able to share all things designing business related with you. So I really hope you love it. This episode is going to be a mini-sode talking all about the power of investing yourself. It's something that can be really scary, especially if you haven't ever done it before, but so powerful and impactful for your business. So let's go ahead and get into it. Part of the reason investing in yourself feels so scary is because this usually means there's money attached. And oftentimes, as entrepreneurs, especially when we're first starting out, especially if we're not taking ourselves seriously yet, it's easier for us to justify giving our time than to justify giving our money. It feels like we have time and we're lacking money, which actually, spoiler alert, the next episode on the podcast, or maybe 2 podcasts away, I can't remember exactly, it is all about how valuable time is as a resource and the power of investing your time wisely. But anyway, we often fall into this trap of thinking that we basically feel like we have infinite time that we can put into our business, and that what we're lacking is money. And so it can feel really scary to invest the money. Now, the reason that is not that's not what it is as it appears to be. What I'm trying to say is the reason that feels scary, the reason it feels difficult to invest your money in yourself is because of beliefs that you have about yourself. It's because of these beliefs of maybe you feel like you aren't worthy. Maybe you feel like you can't make that investment back. Maybe you feel like you have to prove to yourself that you're smart enough, that you're capable enough, that you are efficient enough. You really feel like you have to prove these things to yourself before you deserve to put money into yourself. And those can be they can hold us back so much from so much. It can hold us back from becoming more, stepping into something greater and bigger. And, we all do it. That is the truth. We all have to learn these things. And sometimes we have to learn them the hard way. But the truth is, when we invest in ourselves, especially when we invest in ourselves wisely, the return from that is so great. It's not just in monetary results, what you make as a result, how you're better able to sell and market your patterns, but there's so much inside of you that changes. And some of that's because of the coaching. Some of that as silly and crazy as it sounds, is because you made this investment in yourself. It's because when you invest in a coaching program, you have to have trust both in the coach, but also in yourself. You have to have trust that you are going to actually accomplish this thing. You have to trust that you will do the work. You have to trust that people will want to buy from you. You have to trust that you are creating something that is worthy of being purchased. It takes a lot of trust. And that, I think, is one of the most scary parts about investing in ourselves. We have to, in order to take that first step of investing monetarily in yourself, you have to trust that you're all of those things, that you're doing all of those things. You also, a lot of times when we don't want to invest in ourselves, it's because we lack the confidence that we can do it. Which I guess, that lines, that's very much related to that trust. But we lack the confidence that we can show up as a business owner. We lack the confidence that we can make money. We lack the confidence that, well, sometimes you can't even put words to it. Sometimes it's just like you're not confident in your work. You're not confident in how you sell. You're not confident in your marketing. You're not confident in the content that you're creating. But from my experience and from what I've heard from so many other people is that when we invest in ourselves, we increase our confidence. When we get into these programs that help us one-on-one, that help us in a group setting, it helps us increase our confidence. Part of that's because we're feeling confident about what we're creating. Part of that is because we're feeling confident about the strategy for how we're putting it out there. Part of it is because we actually learn these mindset things about how to actually improve our confidence. But one of the most valuable things, in my opinion, of coaching programs, of investing in yourself, is that it can boost your confidence so, so, so much. But let's just use the design circle as an example. The design circle, this is the community that I have for designers. It gives resources to learn, to teach, so you can learn, so the folks inside of the members can learn different strategies. It gives, if you want to do this, this is how you do it. These are different options. These are different marketing strategies. You can focus on social media. You can focus on email lists. You can focus on SEO. This is how you do it. These are the pros and cons to this. This is how you create a brand identity. This is how you identify your ideal customer. These are questions you really need to ask yourself to really build a strong brand foundation. These are different things you can pull from when you're creating your content. This is how you do market research. All of these different things that teach you how, where there's lots of free content in the world, and on the internet. There's podcasts like this. There's webinars. There's free content on Instagram. There's content you receive on email lists, all this. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of content that gives you lots and lots of answers. But the benefit of actually investing yourself into a program that has structure, suddenly it makes things so much easier. It eliminates so much time that you're wasting. And really gives you clarity on, okay, I just need to do this, 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 and this, and that will give me the results I want. And just knowing that you have those answers, at least for me, gives so much confidence. And knowing that you have somebody to go to ask when you have a question, or you're like, is this how I actually apply it? Or I'm trying to decide between this and this. I'm not really sure what's the best fit for my business. Just being able to talk that through with somebody who gets it, but is an external perspective, is so, so beneficial because so often when we're working on our business, we just have our head down, we're working through the stuff. We don't get the outward perspective. We don't see what other people are seeing. And so getting that outward perspective from an expert is so powerful. Another thing that comes with investing in yourself is this idea of, okay, I've invested in myself, I've invested in this program, I need to do it, I need to take myself seriously. And so that results in boundaries that you create, that results in respect that you have now for yourself as a business owner. And so often it means that then we require more respect from other people. So, just as a little story, an example of this is I struggled a lot, and I'm sure this is, as a pattern designer, this is probably something that feels familiar to you. Um, I struggled a lot with feeling like people weren't taking me seriously as a business owner in my personal life. Every time I'd mention I was a knitting pattern designer, people weren't excited. It was like, felt like people were looking down on me. I was in engineering. My background is in architectural engineering. And so when you say that you're an engineer, people are like, oh wow, that's cool. You must be smart. Things like that. And then when I said, well, okay, I actually experienced this well before I was in the design knitting pattern design world. When I started to focus more on the architecture than the engineering, my engineering peers were like, why would you do that? Like, architects aren't smart. Like, their engineering is so much better. And then I started to really focus in on interior design. That was the part of architecture work that I really loved, was like the floor plans and the interior design work and all of that. And that just, magnified, like, there's no prestige and honor in being an interior designer. Why would you ever do that? Like, you're just wasting your talents and your brains and, all these things that I was being told. And that doesn't feel good. And then, of course, then I go into knitting pattern designing. And you can imagine what they said then. But then I'm working as a knitting pattern designer full time. This is my business. When I tell people in my personal life or I talk about it, my business, the reception was just like I felt less than. Some of that is because of what people were saying or how they were responding, or their lack of interest or their disrespect. Some of that, though, was from inside me. And even though I was operating as a business, I was trying to grow as a business, I was, taking all of these free classes, implementing all of this stuff, learning marketing strategies, all of these different things, I still wasn't respecting myself as a knitting pattern designer. And as a result, I wasn't demanding respect from other people. So when people would ask me, what do you do for a living? What do you do for work? I'd be like, oh, I'm just a knitting pattern designer. Or I'm a knitting pattern designer, and kind of just like trail off, like move my eye gaze off and just like try to change the topic. That's not going to make people respect you. I know from experience. So after I started investing in myself, yeah, it was scary. I promise you, it was scary. It was hard. It was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing now? But it also was a commitment I made to myself. It was a year-long membership program. And I was like, okay, if I'm making this investment, I'm going to commit to putting my all in for the next year. I'd been putting my all in before, maybe not so much mindset wise, because I felt like I still had it out. Felt like, oh, if this doesn't work, I can go into interior design. Maybe I'll enjoy that more, that kind of thing. But once I made that commitment, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to see it through for at least a year. If after that year, whatever, that's fine. But I was going to be serious about it in my mind, not just in action. And because I decided, I admitted to myself that I really loved this and was passionate about it and really wanted to see it through, I started to change how I talked about it. I started to change how other people would talk about it. I demanded respect because I started respecting myself. I started speaking with more authority about how I talked about my business. So instead, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I own my own knitting pattern design business, or I own my own business. I design knitting patterns. And suddenly people were like, oh, that's really cool. That's interesting. Wow, you're a business owner. Um, is just a small tweak in how I worded that and a little more confidence in when I said it. And the response was completely different. I also required, I had conversations with my spouse where I was like, this is serious. This is business. Stop belittling it. Because I was belittling it. He was making jokes about it. And then that made me feel worse. He was just trying to be funny. But these different things that might feel really small that change when you actually invest in yourself, when you care about yourself and your business enough to invest in yourself. And it just makes these what feels like small mindset tweaks that then just have a ripple effect out onto everything else. Like if you just picture like a large pond, you drop a rock in the very center, it might seem like just a small rock, but that ripple, it just gets larger and larger and larger, and it affects the whole pond. That's what this does. When we really change our confidence and our trust and our boundaries and all of that around ourselves and our business. Uh, and then I kind of already touched on this, but really the power of clarity from coaching programs, from investing in yourself, to me it's invaluable, really. Like it's so easy when we're just quote unquote just that's air quotes working in our business, we just keep plowing forward, uh, doing what we're doing. Maybe we start doing 10 other things because we feel like we have to be doing it all and we're just bulldozing through it all. And maybe we're not doing such a great job at it, uh, but we're just bulldozing because we're moving forward. And really, when we have clarity, that helps so much because it helps us really center and focus our energy and our time, our mental, what we're focusing on. And that affects our messaging. It affects how we talk to people, our ideal customer. It really makes sure we're talking to the right people that are actually going to be interested in what we're creating, and make sure we're actually creating content that's valuable for them instead of just trying to create content that's valuable for people that aren't going to be interested in buying what you're creating. It's really helpful in knowing what to create, how to present what you create, and really just makes decision making in your business so much easier. Because when you have clarity around what you're doing, who you're helping, and how you're helping them, you also have clarity on what you're not doing, who you're not helping, and how you're not helping them. And just makes everything so much simpler when you have clarity. And then last on my list of what really is so powerful about investing in yourself is the support that you get when you do that. I specifically choose to invest in programs that where I have connection with the coach, the mentor, the teacher, where I can ask them questions, where I can go to a community and ask questions, where I can get multiple perspectives, where I can share things that I'm struggling with, or doubts that I'm having, or just questions about should I do this or that. And that support I think is so helpful, especially knitting pattern designing as a business is not easy. It's not like you just create a design and suddenly you're a millionaire. if that worked for you, great job. I'm really proud of you. But I haven't met anybody yet that's had that experience. And so having a support system of people that really understand, that really get it, that are really, as I say, in the trenches. I don't love that saying. But they understand the path. They understand the journey. They understand the difficulties of it. They're going through it and they're learning how to jump the hurdles. They can give you tips on how to jump the hurdles, and you can give them tips on how to jump the hurdles. And I think that is so, so, so powerful. So, this all is the power of investing in yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe that is a workshop, a webinar, paid, I'm talking about paid for things because I'm talking about investing in yourself monetarily. Maybe that's one-on-one coaching, maybe that's a group program, whatever that looks like for you. I do strongly encourage you to invest in yourself. Feel free to start small. You don't have to go invest in a $3,000 program to start with. In fact, you probably don't, because you kind of have to learn what your style is, what works well for you. Unless, you already know that coach really well and you know that their style works for you. Feel free to start small, but just start building these things. Because I guess just as a summary, in case you're wanting to take notes, just bullet list. What I think really is so powerful about investing in yourself is that you put trust in yourself, you increase your confidence so much, you start to implement boundaries to respect yourself and to demand respect from other people. You gain so much clarity, and you have support along the way to just help you on all the little things that come up. Little questions regarding, like you learn all of this stuff, but what about this scenario? And what about this? And is this how you were actually supposed to implement it? Did I do this correctly? All those kinds of things are so powerful and so helpful, no matter what kind of business you're running. And so I guess with that, if you feel like I am the mentor, the coach for you, of course I'd be so honored. But you can work with me. Did you know that? I don't just run a podcast, although it's a lot of fun. So I do have one-on-one coaching, and I do have the design circle. And I guess I can tell you a little bit about what I do in both of those in case that's helpful for you, whether that's an investment you want to make right now or investment you're thinking about for the future. Don't overthink it, regardless of who you're thinking about investing with. I find that overthinking it just leads to so much confusion. Like if you say, okay, I'll take a month to think about it, often a month later, we don't actually know. So for me, really thinking about it, the pros, the cons, what I need, what they offer, the price point, of course. And then, just reflecting internally. Does this feel like a good fit? Does this person is their vibe? Does that align with me? Does what they teach align with my values? And just maybe that for you, that's journaling. Maybe it's just closing your eyes and thinking about it. Maybe it's thinking about it while you're out on a walk or doing dishes or something like that. But really, from my experience, at least for me, it's so valuable and important to make a quicker decision. Don't force the decision, but I don't like to allow it to go more than like 2 or 3 days. Preferably in one day. I like to decide, okay, is this for me? Is this not for me? Maybe it is something later. I have a list of things that I'd love to invest in the future. But yes, so I would encourage you to not let yourself sit on the fence too long, because you might get too comfortable on the fence. And either way, you really do need to make a decision for the sake of your business. Okay, so anyway, what I was starting to say is you can hire my help. I absolutely love working with designers who are wanting to learn more or grow more or find more clarity or whatever in their business. So my one-on-one coaching, we tackle something. Maybe it's 2 to 3 somethings in a call. They're usually 1 hour long, although we can book them for an hour and a half to 2 hours if you want. But so my one-on-one coaching is really focused on something very specific that you want answers and clarity to. Something very specific that you're lacking clarity on, you're confused about, you're struggling with, you're frustrated about. We work through that. Of course, if you have 5 things, we can have multiple calls, but that's really what the one-on-one coaching is for. The design circle is it's a circle. It's instead of focusing on one point on the circle, we have the full circle, talking about everything. So it has the courses, the learning material to learn so many different facets of the business, mindset, business, marketing, finances, branding, all of the different marketing strategies, as well as the designing stuff, construction, writing patterns, test knitting, tech editing, so many different things. So the community, the design circle has the whole learning resource part. There's workshops where we talk about one concept, one topic, and all of the designers on the call discuss it, share their input, their thoughts, their opinions, really help each other, give you feedback to each other. And then we have the community. Well, we also have things like design challenges and design along and stuff like that. Creativity bursts are how we really kind of power through to create a lot of design ideas in just 1 week, at least 1 idea per day, with different prompts that I create. And then we have the community, which currently is hosted on Discord. Right now I'm recording this. This is September 2022 for anybody who's listening in the future. We will be moving to circle.so because that allows us to keep everything in the same platform, streamlines things a lot, makes it a lot easier to follow conversations, keep track of things, all of that. But the community is really where you go to share business wins, to ask questions, whether that's a design question or a business question, to say, hey, this is what I created for my lead magnet. Does this look good? What kind of vibe do you get when you go on my social media feed? Does it feel like cozy and encouraging, or does it feel stark and too professional or something like that? So you can ask questions. We also have like accountability threads and all sorts of different stuff there in the community. And moving forward, I am working on really creating course module sectioning basically for all of our lessons. So our lessons are with expert guest speakers that I hire to come in and speak to us. But I'm creating modules where I really speak to the larger picture, to talk to you about, all right, this is the bigger picture. This is how all of these different lessons fit into the bigger picture, how you choose what actually fits and aligns with your business and what's important to you right now. So I'm creating these modules and the lessons to really structure it more like a course. We'll still, of course, continue to add lessons to it and continue to have the expert guest speakers come and speak on these topics. I don't ever envision we stop that. It will continue to grow as a learning resource center. I will be adding, not sure if it will happen by the end of this year, but definitely by January of 2023, I will be adding coaching sessions with me every month. I don't remember what else. I'm adding lots of things. Anyway, it's a hub for designers who are existing designers really wanting to grow their business. For existing designers, maybe who feel a little bit confused about their brown foundations or really wanting to expand into something else, like adding a revenue stream like Patreon or teaching or third-party publishing, things like that. We have guest speakers on all of that kind of stuff. And so it's really for existing pattern designers that just want to take their business to the next level. A lot of times that means bringing it to a level of profitability, adding different aspects, gaining more clarity, and moving forward with focus. So, I guess the reason I'm telling you this, part of the reason, is this month, September 2022, is the 1-year anniversary of the Pattern Design Circle. And because I believe so much in coaching, I think it is so valuable and important for all business owners, no matter who you are and what you sell. And because I wanted to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Design Circle, for anybody who joins the Design Circle this month, September 2022, you get 1 hour of free coaching with me as your coach. So if you've been considering investing in yourself, if you feel like the Design Circle is the fit for you, absolutely love to have you in there, of course, and be so excited to really dive in deeper with you on a free one-on-one coaching call for 1 hour. Yeah. So I really hope that if you've been scared and on the fence to invest in yourself, this podcast episode really encouraged you or opened your eyes to see the power of investing in yourself, what it can really do for you, how it can really change your trajectory, and opened your mind a little bit to the idea of investing in you and your business, because you and your business are both worth it. And it really propels forward so much faster and easier when you invest in yourself. So again, if you feel like I am a good fit, or you're interested in testing working with me, I will have the links in the podcast show notes, but the links are snickerdoodlenets.com/design-coaching and snickerdoodlenets.com/design-circle. Those are the 2 links for the Design Circle and the coaching. And if you do join the Design Circle, I'll send you the information on how to get your free coaching call if you sign up this month. So, yeah, I guess that's all. I hope that you really take yourself seriously, trust in your abilities. You know so much more than you think you know. You are like, you're just so much more powerful and influential than you think you are. And so, yes, big hugs, and don't feel scared to invest in yourself, because you really are worth it. All right, done with this pep talk. I will be back again with another regular episode very soon. And thanks again for joining me here. I'll talk to you later. Wow, thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you found it valuable, please share the podcast with a designer friend. And if you have a minute, leave a review. It's so helpful for me and means the world to me. Chat soon.